All right. Good morning, everybody. I am not Tina, obviously, if you can't tell by my voice. My name is Darius, coming to you from Denver, Colorado. And I'm going to be leading today's Together Run. I am super, super excited. This is something that I've been hoping to do for a long time, and I finally now have the opportunity. So let's have some fun today. But first, as normal, we'll check in first, do a quick nature check. I am currently at a park alongside a river, and so I'm just touching a tree and looking over at the river and watching it flow, and it's a beautiful Sunday morning right now. So getting in tune with myself and nature, and let's go ahead and get started with our run. So as I said, my name is Darius. I guess first, before I get into who I am, I'm just curious where you are and what piece of nature did you check in with today? I know it's hard for some of us. I know by my apartment, we've got a couple trees, but it's a pretty populated area. Bit of a concrete jungle, so came down to a local trail, but of course in classic running for real style, I do not have a functioning car right now, so I had to run 3 miles to get here. So I apologize if I already sound a little tired, because I am. And it's a bit of a warmer morning than I was expecting today, so I already had to strip some layers. So yeah, sorry. I'll give you a minute. Just tell me about where you are. Are you home? Are you traveling right now? Where are you on your run? What piece of nature did you check in with? And I don't know, maybe why did you check in with that specific piece of nature based on where you are? Great. I definitely look forward to, once this episode airs, hear a little bit more about where you're at, because if you couldn't tell by the way I said Colorado and not Colorado, I'm not a native. I just moved here 6 or 7 months ago, so because of that, because of that, still checking out the areas, and obviously don't say things right. So, I guess I'll tell you first a little bit about who I am. I'll probably get some more into that here later. But who are you running with today? As I said twice now, my name is Darius. I'm 22 years old, so probably the youngest person to have recorded a Together Run for Tina, maybe. I know a lot of people are very young at heart and probably younger than me in some ways. But I think we've all got that inner child. So yeah, I'm 22 years old, currently living in Denver, but I'm a Midwesterner at heart, born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, grew up in different parts of Ohio. And yeah, I just moved out here because, I don't know, why not? Graduated from undergrad, and what better time to move across the country? So here I am. I wonder if any of you have just made some life-changing impulse decisions like that. Also, I tested my microphone setup, but this is probably going to be a very running for real episode, because got a pretty janky microphone setup right now. I tested it and it seemed to work most of the time. So hopefully I don't finish the recording and it's all muffled or you hear too much background noise. Also, I'm running in a new jacket today, which I failed to consider with my pack on. Is a little louder than I was expecting. So I hope that doesn't bother you too much. Also, before we get in with the usual program, I wanted to let you know that kind of the reason I'm doing this today, I mean, not the whole reason, but kind of why I reached out to Tina in the first place, is I've been following along with Together Runs more or less since it started. I tagged along with the first several episodes, and then I had a pretty decent running hiatus, but now I've been back at it for at least several months, or I guess probably 2 or 3 months at this point. Just an update, I'm running under a bridge right now. There's a lot of geese in their gooselings, whatever they are, in the water. I know they're kind of annoying, but they're cute at that age. But yeah, so I've been following along with these for a while, and they've really helped motivate me to run, especially through the pandemic. I'll talk more about that later, but probably my one and only, it's not even a complaint about these runs, is because I know Tina's got a lot going on, and these are not the easiest to record, but usually they only go up to an hour, which I like to listen to these on my long run days, because I'm usually just by myself on a trail for a while. Excuse me. And with it only being an hour, I've usually got to switch it over to something else. And I don't say only an hour. An hour is a long time to run. So do not discredit the hour. But when I've got like more than that to run, it's a little disheartening when you get to the end of the episode, you feel like you should be done, and you just got to turn something else on. So, hold on, I'm at an intersection and I want to make sure I'm going the right way on the trail. Okay. I've run on this trail before, but I'm doing kind of a new section of it. So, bear with me if I make sure that I don't get lost. Anyway, so yeah. So, I just wanted to see if I could record a little bit longer of an episode. So, I'm going to be trying to, we'll see if we get there, add an hour and a half group. So 30, 45, 60, and a 90-minute group if we can get there. If not, still hit an hour at the least. But if there's one thing that I've always been told I have a talent for growing up, it's talking too much. So we will see. I think I can get there. Also, I apologize. I'm coming up to a busy road across section in the trail. So I'm gonna be quiet for just a minute, and then we'll start with our census check-in. I do apologize. I definitely should have gone left, and I went right. This is going to be busy for just a minute as I find my way back down to the trail. And we're back. Sorry about that. It does seem like this portion goes along the road for a minute. So again, I apologize. So let's do our census check-in. I think I've delayed that enough. So I know Tina, as well as some of the other guests, have talked about how we overly rely on our sense of sight, our visual senses. So we are going to start with, unfortunately, auditory. So take a minute, if it's safe to do so around you. And I'm pretty guilty of this, of not removing my headphones when somebody tells me to, because I'm like, it's inconvenient. I don't want to do that. Please, if you can, remove the headphones and really take in the sounds around you. Go ahead and do that now. All right. Hopefully you had a good opportunity to check in there. For me, outside of the cars, if you could hear, the last of the snowfall we had last week is melting. So I just heard the crunching of the hard snow under my feet. I also just ran under a bridge, so I heard the echoes of my footsteps. I hear some geese and other birds along the river. Wow, I might turn around if I don't hit a clearing soon. I did not think this part of the trail went this close to the road, so I do apologize about that. Might completely change up my route for today. Let's see, what do we got? Yep, I'm gonna turn around. All right, so we're gonna deal with the cars for another couple of minutes as I run back to my starting point, and instead of heading north on this trail, I'll be heading south, which is fine because this trail is like 50 some miles, I think. So more than enough area to run on it. And I know for a fact, going south has a lot less cars. Like I said, this is gonna be the most running for real episode, because it's my first time doing this, and even though I thought I was comfortable with the route, apparently it was by more traffic than what I realized, which maybe says I need to check in with my senses more on my normal runs and not tune so hard in to what's going on in my headphones. Or I don't know, I really struggle with the balance of zoning out as I run and keeping my mind off of things versus being in tune with what's going on in this moment. Definitely something I need to work on. So next, and again, sorry about the cars, but next we're gonna do our olfactory senses, our sense of smell. So just for your own breathing's sake too, just take a few deep breaths. What do you smell? What is around you? Think about what you smell. What's the cause of that smell? And if you're like me, a lot of times you just smell cold, especially through the winter months that are hopefully wrapping up now. What else is around that could be letting off certain smells? Thank you for sharing that. For me, I know water doesn't really have a smell, but to me, river water does. So that's what I smell. And then as we're headed towards springtime right now, or in mid-March right now when I'm recording this, the geese are coming back out, as I've said, so I smell a little bit of geese poop, so that's fun. So we've done auditory, olfactory. How about the gustatory senses, the taste? What do you taste right now? For me, right now I'm tasting. What am I tasting? I had raisin cinnamon bagel this morning. Not really tasting much of that anymore. A little bit of coffee, jumpstart my morning. Also not tasting a ton of that. I'll tell you what's really, I don't know if it's considered a taste, but it's in my mouth. I've got like a little something stuck between my teeth, and I've been trying to get it with my tongue, and it's just not working. So I'll consider that my taste for the day. But again, I don't know if that counts. What's next? Tactile. Yay. Tactile is one of my favorites and one of my least favorites because it's nice to feel what the body's feeling, but also sometimes that points out some uncomfortable rubbing of clothes or whatever it may be. So what do you feel? And I realize I forgot to do our body scan, so we'll do that next. But first, just generally, outside of internally how your body's feeling, externally, the outside of your body, what do you feel? And I'm stopping for just a second to make sure I am on the right path. Yeah, I'm looking at this map and I was definitely headed straight for more and more traffic. So looks like that part of the trail follows along the road, unfortunately. But I believe we should be in the clear now for the most part. But what do you feel? On my hands, I had gloves on this morning, but I took them off because I was getting hot. But I now feel just the brisk little bursts of winds as I run going across my hands. I feel the strap of my Camelback on my chest. Then I've got some gels in the back pocket of my shorts, so I feel those rubbing up against my backside. And then I feel the pavement beneath my feet. What do you feel? Once again, thank you for sharing. I know I like to have ample time. I don't actually share out loud during these, but I do think about it pretty deeply about what I would say. So thanks for at least taking the time to consider and imaginarily share with me. But I do look forward to hearing from you once and if this airs. So lastly, as humans, what we've evolved to use a lot of, our visual sense. So what do you see? If you're in a new place, just scan around. Pick out little details of what's different from your normal run. If you're doing the route you do every single day, like I normally do during together runs, find something new. What's around you? Morning. I'm not going to guide you in the old, like bit by bit scan that Tina did in some of the early together runs, but I trust that you can do it at your own pace, but you're looking all around. As we're doing that, I'm going to get a drink of water. So for me, what do I see? So to my left, as I'm now running south, there's a golf course. I believe it's a public course, but I don't really golf, and I haven't lived here too long, so I don't know for sure. To my right is that river, the Platte River, if you're curious, if you're from the area. I'm picking out little geese and logs and rocks within the water. And then right in front of me, I'm seeing some old trees. No leaves yet, because like I said, up until pretty much yesterday, it's been in the like highs of Fahrenheit wise, teens and low 20s. Yesterday got up to almost 60 Fahrenheit, and today, right now, it's mid 30s, low 40s, but should be hitting 60 today. So hopefully spring is here and here to stay. But now that I say that, we're gonna get a foot of snow next week. So over on our visual sense, now is when I want you all to stop and take a picture. I kind of cheated, and on my 3 miles to the trail, I already took mine because I wasn't sure. In my testing, the camera didn't seem to impact the recording on my phone, but seeing as we've been recording for 20 some minutes now, I'd rather not lose that. So go ahead and stop. I'm gonna stop with you. Pause your watch if you feel so inclined to make sure your data's good, and just take in what's around you. Take a photo. I'm just walking right now, and it's crazy how quiet it gets once the movement of your feet and the bouncing of your pack stops. Outside of the sound of like lawnmowers or leaf blowers and the occasional car, it's extremely peaceful right now. Beautiful morning. Very thankful to be able to be doing this right now. And I don't really have a big social media presence or anything. I have an Instagram that I use to not bother people that follow my normal account, and it's basically just all of my running and athletics. If you'd like to tag me in the photo that you've just taken, it's Darius, which is Darius _runs, and that's on Instagram. I'll probably be sharing my photo there, and I'd love to see what you all are up to and connect with more of you. Anyway, let's get back to it. I'm gonna pick up the pace again, and we'll start to run. I'm also gonna put my sunglasses on because the sun is bright this morning. Although the sunglasses have been on top of my head, and they are got sweat covered in them now. I'm hoping that fades momentarily. So 30-minute group, I do apologize. We've only got a couple minutes left, according to my timer. And I know we didn't really get a body scan in. So for everyone else, we'll do a mid-run body scan check-in right now. For the 30-minute group, we'll see how you're feeling now at the end of your run. Because I know we always check in at the beginning, but let's make sure we're checking in at the end. Or at least that's the excuse that I'm going to use for forgetting. So, kind of start at your head, top of your head. I feel my hair bouncing because it's way too long at the moment. I feel sunglasses on my head, but otherwise, I don't feel a whole lot of tension in my face right now, which is nice. How are you feeling in your head? Come down to your shoulders. Start with the front side. Check in with your chest. As you check in with your chest, sorry, I realized I didn't really pick up the volume again after I started running again. Your chest, your lungs, breathe deep into your abs, your obliques. How's all that feeling? Is it tight? Is it loose? Are there any stiffness, soreness? Go around top of the back now. How's that? I know sometimes I tense up my back too much as I run, and it can get a little tight and knotted up. How's that? Go into your lower back. Are your hip flexors loose enough, or are they causing some tension on that lower back? How's that feeling? Now into the hips. Are they loose? Are you feeling any pain, tightness? Go into the upper leg, your quads and hamstrings, your knees. I work at a local running store part-time in Denver, and I know I have a lot of people with knee problems. How are your knees doing? Treat them well. And then we'll go into the shins now, and the back, the calf muscles. And finally, we'll finish into the ankles. I know I was dealing with some ankle pain in my left ankle for a while. Been going to physical therapy for that and my shoulder, and I'm thankfully just about done with physical therapy. They're both pretty much back to normal. Good morning. And then into the feet. Tops of your feet, your toes, bottoms of your feet, sides of the feet. How's all that feeling? I'm gonna slow down my pace just a little bit as I feel like I'm starting to breathe a little heavier than I should be. Like I said, I'm just so excited to be here with you all, and that excitement, along with the beautiful morning, it's just got me feeling great today. So I unintentionally am picking up the pace a little bit. Now listen to this. Isn't that lovely? Oh, I just feel on top of the world right now. I hope you are too. And if you're not, that's okay. It's always okay to not be okay. I'll talk a little bit more about mental health and whatnot here in a little bit. But for now, my watch is showing that we are just about at 30 minutes. Wow, that went fast. Sorry I couldn't get into more with the 30-minute group. But I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk. We're gonna stride it out a couple times before you leave, but feel free afterwards to stick around and just listen, or if you're tired of hearing some guy just ramble to himself, I'll see you on the flip side. I'll be running alongside with you on Tina's next recording. So first, 30-minute group, take you down to a walk. 45, 60, and 90-minute groups. Keep up with me, and we're all together. Gonna do some strides. I don't come from a running background, So all I know about strides are what Tina has said. So we're gonna kick it up to about 80% of your max speed for about 10-15 seconds, then we'll slow it back down. All right, ready, everybody? In 3, 2, and 1. And bring it back down to a walk or easy jog. Sorry, I'm passing by a little, I don't know, some sort of gas company, but it looks like their logo says something about sustainable. I don't know. Have to do more research later, see if that's actually the case. All right, let's chill for, I don't know, 15 more seconds, and then kick it back up one more time, and then peace out. It's my 30-minute group. Okay, and 3, and 2, and 1, let's go. And bring it back down. So goodbye, 30-minute group. Thank you so much for tagging along today and bearing with me through whatever this is. It's Together Run, but it's my Together Run. So it gets to be what I want it to be, with the approval of Tina, obviously, and company. So 30-minute group, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. I'm grateful to have had this opportunity, and I'll be running with you next time. For everybody else, my watch currently says my heart rate is at like 165, which is just not the case right now. But it's fine. It's whatever. We're chugging along. It's definitely not that high. But my watch does yell at me whenever I go over a certain heart rate, because the current training plan I'm on right now is time and heart rate based as opposed to mileage based. And because of that, I've got to keep it slow today, which is kind of painful at times, but it's okay. Speaking of slow, I am gonna, again, in true running for real fashion, I'm gonna pause my watch and walk for a minute, because actually I probably should have taken a goo about 10 minutes ago, but, or a gel. I'm using a new brand right now that I've not used before, and because I ran out of my other ones, and they don't sell the ones that I like at my running store, so I had to get some random ones until my next shipment comes in. And so we're gonna see how this goes. So I do apologize for crinkling and whatever noise you might hear in the next minute or so, but take a moment to yourself. It's okay to walk for a minute if you have to. It's always okay to walk. Just keep moving and grooving. But I'm gonna take this gel and I'll be back with you momentarily. All right, my overall feedback, and I know I'm not brand supporting or anything here, not bad. Not a bad gel. Might have to try some more of those at a later date. But that's good. I could feel myself getting a little low on them little electrolytes. But now we're back in action. So let's do it. So, one key thing that I have not gotten to yet, forgot to restart my watch. That's why you always just don't pause your watch. It's fine. One thing I forgot to do is mental health check-in, or just kind of mental check-in, I guess. So, sorry 30-minute group, but this is, I know, one of my favorite parts of these runs, because just with some of the background that I have, which I know isn't much because I'm still only 22, has been around mental health and kind of helping people with theirs, but also trying to take care of my own. I'll talk more about it, but I do come from a pre-med background. I majored in health sciences in undergrad, and I worked as a more or less a first-year student mentor. Jeez, sorry, this is like a very small side road right now running along the trail, and I guess there's a lot of cars out and about on this Sunday morning. I figured after daylight savings it wouldn't be very busy because people are running off of less sleep. Anyway, I worked with first-year students in undergrad and basically mentored them on how to be successful in college, and because it's not an easy thing, it's a whole new world. So I've had people with some very, very serious things happen in their lives, and so I take mental health very seriously. I'm now a teacher I'm in grad school right now, so I'm a student teacher at a school here in Denver. And again, with my students, I take mental health very seriously. So, more than asking, how are you? Because I know that can be a really difficult question to answer. Somebody asked me how I am, especially recently. I've had a really rough past couple of weeks. Had just kind of a series of unfortunate life events happen that I won't get into just because I don't care too much to share with everybody. But nothing super serious. Fortunately, my health and my close family and friends' healths are in good standing. Just a couple other, seemingly silly things, but when you add them up, it really takes a toll on you. So, I feel kind of silly at times worrying about my mental health when I know there's people in far less fortunate situations than my own, because at the end of the day, I'm very lucky to have a support group around me that is always there for me. But it's still been a challenging couple of weeks, and I'm hoping as spring comes around, and it's a good omen for the changing of the seasons and the changing of luck. And I don't actually believe in luck, but good fortune, I guess. Whatever. So instead of asking, sorry, that was a long way to say, instead of asking, how are you? Because I know that can be difficult to answer, I'm gonna ask instead, first, from this past week, from the last episode you listened to, even if you didn't tell it directly to me, think about it to yourself, and you can tell me if you'd like. What is one challenge that you have dealt with? What is one major challenge that's been weighing on you from the past week? I'll give you a nice minute to answer that, especially as I run up this little hill. All right, take a minute, wrap that up. So now, instead of just focusing on the challenge itself, even if it's a challenge that you feel so head over heels, don't even know how to approach it, what is one step over the next week that you can do to help go with that challenge? Just one step in a week, just one small step. How can you work towards resolving or getting through that challenge? And I really do apologize about all the cars. There's a trail that I normally run on, and I did 16 and a half miles on it last weekend, and I didn't feel like running that same route this weekend, but obviously I should have, because that one is nowhere near a road, and this one has been much busier with traffic than I expected. So thank you for bearing with me. But what is that one step? I'm about to pass some construction now. Wow. Like I said, for real, running for real. Thanks for sharing. For me, one challenge I've faced is just really overbooking myself. And so I've really been, that's not helped with the other stuff I have going on in my life right now. So that overbooking has just been icing onto the cake of Stress City. But we're working through it, and it seems kind of simple. But one thing that I plan on doing to help over this next week is saying no, which can be really difficult. I've got a lot on my plate for this week, and I think I've just got to focus on the tasks that I already have at hand, and I've just got to be able to say no if anybody tries to put anything else on me. So I guess my action to help my challenge is inaction. So, 45-minute group, I know we're pushing it close here. But I want to know, now that we've talked about a challenge, over the past week, what's one good thing that's happened to you or that you've done for yourself? Because obviously things happen to us, but we gotta take care of ourselves too. So what is one thing that's happened to you that's been good, or that you've done for yourself? And I've got to think about this one because I find it personally much easier to point out the hardships than the things that are going well in life, even though I know the things that are going well outweigh those challenges. But it's hard to see sometimes. Okay, so thank you for sharing that. Actually, no, sorry. One thing I'm trying to work on with my students too is when I tell them I'm gonna give them a minute to talk about something, actually giving a minute. Morning. So, 30 more seconds. And while you're finishing that up, I'm gonna double check the map. Make sure that I'm still where I need to be. Okay. We're chugging along. Actually, there's a better map right up here. It's a crossroads of paths. Okay. Okay, so I'm still on the trail, hoping we're gonna leave the side of the road here, get some nice quiet miles in, but I don't know that that's gonna happen. But I guess I'll share my one good thing now. I didn't really think about it like I said I was going to. My good thing is the support that I've received from, I don't know, I guess everybody. Family has been really supportive of just some of the things I've been going through. Friends, like running friends, who are also normal friends, but they've been really supportive in my marathon training right now. My partner, she has been left with a lot of the slack to pick up that I've kind of left behind as I've been really struggling with things, and she's just been unbelievable, and I can't thank her enough for everything she's done. So yeah, I have felt very supported this past week. If you had to put your past week into one word, not a hyphenated word, not two words, no adjectives before your word, describe it in one word. As crappy as the week has felt, I'd say supported is mine. Anyway, sorry, 45-minute group. You're done. Just kidding. Take it to a walk if you haven't already. We'll do 2 quick strides, and then I'll get you on out of here. It is harder to watch the clock than I expected. When I'm normally doing these, I'm like, Tina, it's obviously been 45 minutes. How can't you tell? And then now that I'm doing it, I'm like, oh wait, there's a lot to keep track of. But it's okay. At least I hope it's okay. Sorry if you had to be somewhere. Now you're gonna be late. Okay. So yeah, I gotta cross a quick bridge, and then we'll do some strides, and then you'll be done. Okay, 45-minute group and everyone else will go in 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So I got a little distracted. There's a little mini waterfall right here. I think you can hear it. I believe it's man-made, but still pretty nonetheless. All right, stride number 2. 1, or I guess 3, 2, and 1. And bring it back down. I'm gonna snag a drink of water, and then 45-minute group, you're done. Sorry, that spiked my heart rate a little bit, so bear with me. All right. All right, 45-minute group. Thank you again so much for tagging along and sticking around a couple extra minutes. I've said it before and I'll say it again. These together runs have been amazing for me in my running journey, and I hope that this one can just, even if it's just one person, gain something from it or help in some little way, then I did my job. Good morning. Hi. So thank you again, and I will see you all next time around. So unlike normal, our group, you've got company today. We've got a 90-minute group. So you 2 groups, thank you for sticking along. We're gonna keep chugging down the trail. So I'm just gonna give you a minute or 2 of silence besides the sound of me running. Just take in what's around you. Check back in with yourself. Do what you gotta do. Take this time for yourself. And I'll be here right next to you. I also just realized I did not check how many miles have come this way on the trail. So I don't really know when I have to turn around. Running for real, people. Running for real. Morning. We're passing by. We're going to pass under an on-ramp to get onto the highway, I believe. So it's going to be noisy for just a minute. So while that's happening, continue checking in with yourself and your surroundings. I really picked the worst route today. I really thought this was a better one, but very noisy. But it's okay, because maybe you're running with other noise around you, and it can really feel like we're running together, because we're running through noisiness together. And then our group, we've got about 5 minutes left before I send you off. I'm in a tunnel, and I can't see with my sunglasses on. And we reemerge. And we're leaving the traffic behind us, but just judging from my watch, probably have to turn around here soon. Probably once the hour group is gone, I'll take a gel and turn around. I do, unfortunately, have to get to work in about an hour and a half. Hopefully I don't show up late, but they're a very relaxed running store, and I think we'll understand if my long run went long. So, 90-minute group. The next thing I'll talk about is my running journey. So, 60-minute group and other groups if you're still with me. I'll talk about my running journey. I don't come from a running background, and I'm not one of those people that says that they don't come from a running background and then is like, and I mean, no offense to any of these people, because you're awesome, you're killing it. But I hear a lot of people say, oh, I don't have a running background. I just started running when I was 18, and then I went on to win a state title, and now I'm consistently placing top 3 in my local races and all this stuff. And not now, but like when they first started, they immediately started and did awesome. So even though they might have not started from 10 years old, it's like still ran in high school and throughout college competitively. And I know for me, it can be a little deflating when I hear these people talking about how they don't have a running background, and yet they've been an amazing runner for basically since they started. All right, our group, we're gonna do our strides, and I'm gonna get you out of here. So, here we go. Come down to a walk, our group. Take about 20 seconds for yourself. And then we'll go. Also, the heart rate monitor on my watch is definitely messed up, especially considering my training plan is a heart rate training plan. It's not really in the budget right now, but I've been considering getting a chest heart rate monitor because my heart rate needs to stay in the 140-ish area today, and currently says I'm at like 166, which is nowhere close to accurate. Okay, we've got a road crossing, so I'm just gonna turn around once I get to it, and then we'll start our first stride with the 60-minute group. And then I'm gonna eat a snack. Brought some little chewables. Turning around now. Actually, first, just listen to that water for a minute. I know I did that once before, but here you go. All right, let's go. Sorry, to me, running water, which is one of the big advantages of this trail over the other one, which is why I picked it, is it has running water the whole way along. I forgot about all the cars. Anyway, sorry, I've been harping on that way too much. Running water and campfires, or just like any sort of small fire, are two of the most relaxing things visually and from an auditory perspective for me. I don't know, I just find them so peaceful. It really helps me tone back in to where I am and everything like that. Okay, sorry, delayed that enough. Let's hit a stride in 3, 2, 1. And bring it back down. Sorry, I'm guesstimating 10 to 15 seconds for that one. I think it was a little short, but considering my run is 2.5 hours today, I'm gonna try to keep this, and my legs are sore already from this week, trying to keep my running hard efforts to a minimum. All right, pick it back up in 3, 2, 1. And bring it back down. I will say it does feel good. Whew, excuse me. Heart rate spiked. I will say it does feel good just to use the muscles in my legs a little bit differently as I pick up the pace. Stops from the monotony of same step, morning, same cadence for hours. Yeah, my watch just alerted me that my heart rate is at 183, which If my heart rate was 183, I would not be talking right now. But it's okay, because I feel good. So 60-minute group, you're done. You got 30 minutes if you want to stick around and hang out with me, keep me entertained for at least the majority of the rest of the run I have left. If not, I totally get it. I hope you've enjoyed this. I know I'm no Tina. Tina's, and I mean, all the other guests have just been fantastic. And I really came into this today with no expectations. I just kind of go with it, see where we end up. And it's felt pretty good for me. I don't think it's maybe up to the quality that you're used to, but it's my first time doing this, so I'm giving myself a pass. But I do hope you've gained something from it. And I appreciate, I really do, you sticking with it. And this might be your first time hearing my voice, and I still may have never heard yours, but I take comfort in knowing that I'm going through this journey with other people. And it's a special community that's been created here. I'm not on the Facebook Superstars group yet. Sorry, I've been a busybody. I meant to do that before I recorded this, but I didn't. But I'll be on there soon. So hopefully on there, through Instagram or whatever other means, I get to know you, because we're all on our own journeys, but we're in it together still at the same time. I really think that's something special. So 60-minute group, thanks again. Until next time. And I believe for the first time ever, 90-minute group, it's just you and I. It is just you and I. So I know 60 minutes, even 30, 45 minutes, not short runs. So don't ever get that twisted. Not short runs, but for the 90-minute group especially, thanks for sticking with me. Morning. Thanks for sticking with me on your long run, because I'm on mine. And it's just an ugly but beautiful world we're living in right now. And glad to have you along. So now, on top of the ramblings that I've had for the past however long, I'm gonna ramble some more. Actually, first, bear with me again. I'm gonna eat a little bit because I feel hungry, which, considering how much time we still have on this run, is not great. So, I've not been properly fueling as I should throughout this run. I have the fueling on me, I just haven't been using it. So, bear with me for just a second. I got my little chews out, and I'm gonna take a few, so you're gonna hear me running, eating, and some rustling for the next minute or so. Thanks. And I almost dropped my phone. Don't have the case on it right now, so it wouldn't be the best idea. All right. I'm not sure if all brands are like this. And again, I won't go naming brands because I know Tina has some great sponsors. But I don't know if every brand does this. But I'm a vegetarian, and I really like the little chews, but I appreciate that certain brands will do gelatin-free chews, because there's nothing I hate more than going in to eat something chewy like that and then seeing on the package contains gelatin, which is animal fat. So thank you to everyone who keeps my diet in mind, which again, I realize being able to be vegetarian is a privilege in itself. That shows I have capable access to choose the foods that I'm eating, and so I don't judge anybody for their diet. Their diet is their choice. My diet is my choice, and I'll just eat what we are gonna eat, and hopefully be healthy in this world. But I also realize that, unfortunately, the cheap foods are the ones that aren't good for you. Trust me, as a broke grad student, I know, and I also realize that I don't know at the same time. But yeah, sorry, that's a little off track of where I wanted to go with it. Food and diet is just one of those things that I really struggle with, not personally, but food insecurity and food deserts and everything like that are just such an issue. And I teach in a school in it's a Title I school, so they receive extra funding from the government because they are in a low-income area, and I think pretty much everybody's on free and reduced lunch, and it's a 97% minority school, and just I teach biology, so just seeing a lot of those food insecurities, especially even from my hometown, and what the kids eat versus what they know is good for them versus not, it's just not really there like it is. Good morning. Like it is in wealthier, whiter neighborhoods and school districts. So it's just something kind of near and dear to my heart, especially from a health science background. So it's something I'm passionate about. Anyway, as promised, several minutes late is my running background, which I will admit, I am fortunate that running has come fairly easy to me. Not as easy as a lot of people, like those people I was talking about earlier, but I also do recognize that, for example, my mom, she has really tried to get into running. She's been into exercise for a long time, but running is just something that she just struggles with, even at slower paces. She just can't keep her heart rate down, and so it's very frustrating for her to want to pick it up to higher paces, but have to stay at just barely above a walk at times because she just can't keep her heart rate down. And I know that a lot of people's bodies are like that, so I'm very fortunate. I know I said Last weekend I did 16 and a half miles. This weekend's another long run. And I'm just fortunate to be able to run for that kind of distance and sustain it. But I really don't come from a running background. I'm 22 now. I started playing baseball, actually. That's my background. When I was about 5 years old, which is one of the sports with probably the least amounts of running. Although I will argue that there is more than people realize. People call baseball a lazy man's sport or whatever. I disagree. Some of baseball players are some of the, in my opinion, still smartest and most athletic athletes out there. Not a hit on any other sport, but I'm just saying baseball players get a bad reputation, and I disagree with it. But I am a little biased, so. So I played baseball from the time I was 5 years old through high school. I was actually a pretty good baseball player, not like D1 athlete or anything, but probably could have gone to a D2, D3 school and played. But I knew I wanted to go pre-med out of high school. Sorry, I just ran into a swarm of flies. And because of that, I kind of knew, I loved baseball. And I know in college, sports become a job. And I didn't want to lose my love for baseball, because at one point I had already almost lost it. And I didn't want to go through that again. I'm eating another chew, so give me a sec. Okay. So as I was saying, let's see. Baseball, played throughout high school. I've been, since I was a kid, one of the most competitive people that I knew. I always had to win everything, even if it was a meaningless competition. So when I graduated high school and kind of left baseball behind, I just couldn't sit around and do nothing, because I had to compete, had to do something. Fortunately, in my local hometown just outside of Columbus, Ohio, there was a gym, and I say gym, this thing was in a small kind of old warehouse, and it was owned by just a couple, very local gym, but they made it home, and it was an obstacle course racing gym. So I just give a quick shout out to Genesis and Jeffrey. You know who you are. Thank you so much for welcoming me into your community and really kickstarting my athletics after high school and kind of getting me on the path that I am now. The gym is unfortunately no longer open. Closed down probably 3 years ago now. Not that I live there anymore, but it was a great community. It was affordable, but like a specialized gym for like HIIT workouts, and they had spin classes and obstacle training for like Spartan, Savage, other brands of obstacle course races, and they genuinely they built a lot of their equipment. They took a lot of kind of donations from people and bought a lot themselves out of their own pockets, and it was just, they welcomed everybody in, and everybody knew everybody and supported each other. And I think being welcomed into a community like that is really what gave me the strength to motivate myself afterwards. So, but I guess that's kind of besides the point. So I joined this gym and I did a lot of like HIIT workouts, so like high intensity interval training, lots of cardio, lots of body weight exercises, but not a whole lot of specific running. So, me being the competitive person I am, first summer after being part of that gym, I went out and signed up for a few obstacle course races. Had no idea what I was getting into. The first one I signed up for was the Ohio Spartan Beast. And I was 18 years old. Again, didn't really know what I was getting into. All I came into the race with was a little belt, a couple of those old like Gatorade shoes with two little tiny water bottles attached to my hips, which, unlike road races and obstacle course racing, the aid stations are far and few between. So you really got to pack whatever you're going to bring with you for the most part. So Spartan Beast, if you don't know, is a half marathon distance, more or less, usually a little more, with about, 35-ish obstacles, everything from monkey bars to rigs with rings, rope, pipes, stuff like that, to heavy bucket carries, to everything. Because of the training I'd done, I'm going up the hill. Because of the training I had done, I was pretty used to the obstacles, and I think the obstacles I failed were both right at the end, because I was just so exhausted and my nutrition was not proper. And but besides that, the obstacles came pretty easy to me. I, especially from a baseball background, had some pretty decent lower and upper body strength built up. But from the lack of running, I think I'd done one road half marathon like a year and a half prior, just with a friend. And that's like all the running background I had. Looking back, I'm even shocked I made it through that half marathon. But I survived. I got through it. It was probably one of the most painful experiences of my life. And throughout the rest of the summer, I competed in these races, continued to do well, and obstacles continued to suck at the running. It was definitely more of a power walk than a run, especially considering how hilly they make those races out to be. If there's a hill, especially even in Ohio, they will find it and they will take you up it several times. So that kind of continued. And I quickly realized I needed to focus more on running. But then the next summer, I had the opportunity My dad's side of the family is from Costa Rica, still lives there to this day. So I minored in Spanish and had the opportunity to study abroad for about 3 months in Costa Rica. So I didn't do any racing or really much running that summer. And then come the next year, I had big plans of starting my running journey. I was going to do the Flying Pig race in Cincinnati because that's where I went to undergrad. And, excuse me, I'm going to slow down a little bit. I realize I'm breathing pretty heavy. Sorry about that. So I had big plans during the winter months. I did not run nearly as much as I had wanted, and still was just kind of obstacle training, but not really running training. But then the pandemic hit, and gym shut down. And me being the competitive person I am, I couldn't just accept sitting around doing nothing. So even when we didn't know what COVID really was yet or how it transmitted, I picked a training plan online, and I started doing a half marathon training, which I had run more in those couple of months than I ever had before in my life, and I felt great. But because there were no races, after my training plan ended, I kind of stopped because I didn't know what I was running for. I didn't have a purpose. Not that you have to, but for me, I am too competitive, and I usually have to find a purpose in what I'm doing. So I kind of stopped running again and just kind of became a Sunday workout kind of person through the rest of the pandemic, where workout maybe a couple times a week, very infrequent, especially running wise, didn't do much. And that was for the next, I don't know, year and a half. And fast forward to probably 9 months ago now, I had the brilliant idea of, so they had moved the Flying Pig Marathon, which is what I wanted my first marathon to be. They moved it to October 2021, which was after I was moving to Denver, so I knew I couldn't do it. So I was like, oh, what else can I sign up for? And I looked for a cheap race because I was only a couple months prior, so they were fairly expensive at that point. And I found Colorado Springs Marathon. And I had been training while I was in Cincinnati pretty hard, not really following a training plan, which looking back is not great. But nonetheless, I was running frequently, a couple times a week. And then I moved to Denver in August, and I jumped pretty much right into classes and student teaching, and it was just a lot. So, and I was trying to get the lay of the land of a new place. So I kind of stopped running again, just maybe once or twice a week. Taking another chew. Bear with me. I'm getting tired, if you can't tell. This, as well as last week, have been my longest long runs in a long time. So even though it's a slower pace that I'm going at, my legs are just not used to being on running for that long at a time. So, let's see. So yeah, anyway, so October rolls around. I am significantly undertrained, but I'm like, it's fine. A few years ago, I did that half marathon with practically no training. I'll be fine. Boy, was I wrong. I was good for about the first 13 miles. And then people were not kidding when they say that mile like 18 to 22, I'd say 18 to 24 for me. Now, probably 16 to 24 to be honest. 16 to 24 were a drag. Because I was undertrained, my legs were not used to going for that long. I had plenty of nutrition, but it just wasn't holding up. It wasn't enough. Also, I'd only been at the 5,000 plus feet for about a month and a half at that point, which day-to-day wise was plenty, but from a running perspective, I was still just struggling to breathe. And I failed to realize before I signed up for the race, Colorado Springs is over 6,000 feet. So the altitude was a struggle. The race itself was a great local race. I really enjoyed it. Very pretty. But, sorry. Whew. I almost cursed there. Unfortunately, there's a dead squirrel on the side of the road and here on the side of the path, and I almost stepped on it. I thought it was alive, and I thought that it was gonna move, and then I realized it was dead. So, rest in peace, Mr. Squirrel Man. Thinking of you. But yeah, so it was a very pretty local race, but very small race compared to some other ones around here. So, especially in those later miles, I was just kind of by myself on a gravel path. It felt like a normal Sunday long run because I was spaced out so far from other racers. There weren't really supporters on those in-between miles, and I was just in a really bad place. But I kept pushing through. I finished. It felt great once I finished, and I'm really proud of myself for doing so. But like I said, it was a grind. In a 90-minute group, I realized we're here. But I'll wrap this up and get you sent on your way. Morning. And yeah, so it was a real struggle. And like I said, I finished, which was awesome. I won't tell you my time because I know I would compare myself to the person talking right now, and I don't think that's good. Like, I know I'm a competitive person, but people that are supporting us, I don't think we need to compare so much. Morning. Crossing back over that bridge earlier with water underneath. Very pretty. Definitely more people out and about now that it's about 10 o'clock mountain time. So yeah, I finished, and when I finished, I was like, never again. But here I am, mostly because And I think this is where I'll leave you off at. Actually, I've got about 30 minutes left in my run. I'm gonna make a 2-hour group. Hour, 20-minute group. And Tina, if you wanna, or Jeremy, whoever is listening to this right now, if you wanna cut me off at 90 or even earlier, completely fine. I'll say goodbye. I'm not gonna have the 90-minute group run any more strides because we're getting up there in miles. But 90-minute group, thank you so much. I'm gonna finish telling the story, but it'll drag on for a little while longer. So if you wanna go, you can. But I'm gonna finish up this run. We might hit a little more traffic because I've gotta take those couple of miles back to my apartment at this point. So I'll be running along a fairly busy road, but it is a Sunday morning, so I'm hoping it wasn't too bad on my run out. So hopefully on the run back, it's not too bad. So let's see. So where was I? Okay, yeah, so this is what I wanted to lead into. Is I've realized how important community is over the past couple months. And I was very much a solo runner, especially through the pandemic. I mean, I listened to these episodes and they're really what motivated me and made me feel like I was connected to somebody. But at the end of the day, I was still running all but one of my runs each week, except on occasion I had a friend, still have that friend, who I ran with, still run with from time to time. But I was doing the majority of my runs by myself, which was really hard for motivation. And I had been very inconsistent running, especially, like I said, when I moved to Colorado, just because it was so difficult. And sorry, I'm losing my train of thought as I'm making a few turns to get back onto the road I need to be on. I'm gonna cross over a bridge that goes over the highway, so it'll probably be noisy for the next 2 minutes or so, and then it should die back down. But I'll just keep talking anyway. But I do apologize. So, like I was saying, my running had been inconsistent. I was struggling to do so. But then I was, being a grad student, kind of running low on money, and loan money and the money I'd saved up over the past few years was just running dry. So picked up a part-time job at a local running store, and they're really what kicked me into gear. So I'm running up the bridge right now, and it's a fairly steep incline. So I'm gonna have I'll pick back up with this running store in the community in just a few minutes. Check in, do another body scan, lead it at your own pace. How are you feeling at this point? Has anything changed? What's going on in your body? the top on my way back down the other side. So give me a minute, catch my breath, keep checking in with yourself, and I'll continue with my story in a minute. And we'll hit the end of this traffic here momentarily. Like I said, running for real. Morning. Okay. We're over the bridge. Still gonna have a little bit of traffic from that bridge, but shouldn't be as consistent. I'm also gonna try to take, there's not a ton of side streets between here and my apartment, but I'm gonna try to take them so it's a little more quiet. I really hope I'm still recording, because I'll be really sad if I'm not. Anyway, yeah, so I started working at this running store, and I found, so the running store is like not even a mile away from my apartment, and I shop at the supermarket that's right next to it. But and I know a lot of people struggle with this, I never really saw myself as a runner, and because of that, I was always really afraid to go and check it out. Coming up to a stoplight, so I'll stop for a second. So yeah, I was afraid to check it out because I never saw myself as a runner. And finally one day I worked up the courage, stopped at it, and saw they had a Wednesday night run club. So I applied, I got the job, and then even before my first day at work, I went to a run club, and immediately I fell in love. It was just so incredible. Like, it was the middle of the winter, it was in January, frigid cold, snowy, and there were still people that came and provided all different pacing groups, distance groups, just lots of options for every type of runner. Because I like to say, if you run, you're a runner, but it's hard to hold myself to that same standard because I'm harder on myself than anybody else. So, sorry, this light's taking a while to change. So I started going to the weekly run club as well as working on the weekends there, and just the support that I've gotten from this group of people, even though I have a training plan already that I'm following, they really helped me build my base before the training plan started. Okay, we're running again. And they just gave me tips along the way. They told me about different shoes, how they work differently, nutrition, other gear, and they just really made me feel like part of the running community. And for the first time in my life, I actually feel like a runner, even though I'm still not going to be setting any course records or not even going to be anywhere near placing, but I feel knowledgeable enough, and I just feel welcomed. So it's a really good feeling, and I guess my whole point with telling that story is just find your community.
I still obviously feel very much part of this community, and I'm so thankful for it. But for me, I needed an extra push. I needed some people that were there in person and helping me out. So if you're looking for your sign, this is it. Join that group or take that step, whatever it may be. And view yourself as a runner. If you run, you're a runner. And even whether you're running, whether you're walking that first mile or you're doing the Leadville 100 miler or anybody in between, you're a runner. And it took me a long time to realize that. And that's part of the reason why I waited so long to reach out to Tina about hosting this. I just didn't think I had enough to say, which clearly, due to the painful length of this episode, I do. So again, sorry about that. Oh gosh, pushing through these last 18 minutes, according to my watch. Okay, we're crossing. And yeah, there might not actually be 18 minutes. I might finish a little early, but it's fine. We've done plenty. And yeah, that was that story. I mean, I still am much better at obstacle course racing than I am road running. My goal, I think I'm signed up for at least 4 or 5 obstacle course races this summer already, with a couple more in mind. But my goal is to place top 3 in my age group for at least one of them, because I have the obstacle background, but now that I've got a little running under my belt, hoping to do better. Last summer I managed to get 6th in my age group for one race and 11th in my age group for another race. So really trying to crack top 5 and hopefully top 3. Again, I'm so sorry about the noise, but this is the end of the run. We're gonna have to bear through it. Road races. I'm finally making it back to Cincinnati for the Flying Pig May 1st. Don't know if this episode's gonna air before that or not, but May 1st, 2022, I'm doing the Flying Pig half marathon. My main race is the Colfax Marathon here in Denver on May 15th. I'm treating the Flying Pig half. I just wanted to do it because I have friends that are doing it, and it's really just an awesome race. Community gets behind it, and it's a fun time. But anyway, doing that on May 1st, and the Colfax, treating that as my last kind of long run / intro to my taper. And then I've got the full 26.2 in Colfax, May 15th. I'm really looking forward to that. And I don't know, if everybody keeps asking me what my goal time is. And I know it's my second one, but I really just want to finish. Again, and I want to feel better finishing than I did last time. So even if I'm a little slower, while I'll be disappointed, I just want to finish and feel better than I did my first time racing it. Oh my goodness. Lots of cars. Way more busy than on my way out. So, last thing I wanted to talk about, I could go into more into my teaching and why I decided to go into education, a very underpaid career, after potentially becoming a doctor, a very high-paid career. And, I mean, long story short, I decided money wasn't as important to me, and I love science, and I love working and helping to be not necessarily a leader, but an advocate for my students, because I really want to work full-time next year after I'm done with my student teaching this year in a school in an underserved community, and maybe give some kids a chance that haven't been given the most fair shot. Because the kids I work with right now are awesome and I love them, and I wish I could do more for them, but I just want to be an advocate for them and let them take action. Anyway, that's a little bit into it. If you want to connect with me later, I'm more than happy to talk about it. I could talk about it all day long, if you couldn't tell. But, what time is it? Okay, probably gonna be late to work. Gotta be there in 30 minutes. And I still gotta get home, eat, shower. Yeah, I'm gonna be late. Oh well. Ooh. Forgot to start my watch again after that intersection. So, the last thing I wanted to talk about, it's a question that has been in my mind past week or so, because I've had people ask me, like, you've got so much on your plate, why do you run so much? That's so much extra time and stress on your body. That has to be hard on top of everything else. So why don't you take it back a notch? And my simple answer is running and exercise is the one thing that really I do for me. And I need that for my mental health. I don't think I could survive if I didn't have exercise. All right, I'm gonna cut down this side street, get away from the traffic. I think this side street will lead me back to my apartment. Sorry, I'm really tired. Oh, that's so much better. So, I think for me, yeah, I just need it. I need exercise. I need activity of some kind. And I just can't live without it. So that's why I can't cut it out. And so my thought became, what could I cut from my busy schedule that wouldn't impact the things I need to get done and also wouldn't impact my mental health negatively? And I still don't know that I've come up with a good answer to that question, because it feels like I need to do everything. And I'm sure a lot of you feel that way too. So it's definitely not cutting out running. But I don't know, I've been trying to pay attention to the things that I do and really add up what's worth my time and what wastes my time. And definitely cell phone use is something I've been trying to cut down on, because that takes up a lot of time in my day. I don't know. So throw the question on you. What's one thing you could cut out of your life to help save you some stress, but not take away from the things you have to do? I don't know, it's an interesting question. Oh, goodness. Almost there. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm gonna be silent here for the next 2 minutes or so and just let you. I've been storytelling for a while, so let me get out of your ear and you just run with me for a little while. Let's push each other through to the end, because we're almost there. Like I said at the beginning, this is a super for real, running for real episode. So much so that it's probably a little less, I know they're always relaxed, but a little less professional and probably a little harder to listen to, but I hope that you'll bear with me. And thank you if you have. It really means a lot. Ooh, temperature is picking up. I'm sweating a lot. It's one thing still not really used to from Denver is how drastic the temperature difference is from the morning and evening to the middle of the day. Now that it's past 10:30, the heat, especially from the cloudless sky, really picking up. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna cross one more busy intersection and then the noise should be back to a minimum. last weekend I ran my long run with a friend, and that definitely made things go faster, which, I'll be honest, time has kind of flown today too, but I've been talking the whole time instead of whenever I'm running with somebody, it's a pretty 50-50 conversation. Today's probably more 90-10, and I am feeling parched because of it. I've only got a few more blocks, and then I'll bank a left, and then I'll be back in my apartment. So this 10 minutes we have left should be about perfect, which I know, because of all the pausing I've done, will end up being longer than 120 minutes. I've been pausing my watch, but for my training's sake, I need to be running for a certain amount of time. So I do apologize. I feel like I've done too much apologizing. I need to just own what I'm doing and stick to it. Trust the process. Speaking of trusting the process, I guess if you're training for something, or even if you're not, you're just moving to keep your health up, or try to get it up, whatever your reason is, stick with it. I know it's really hard, day by day, to see an impact, especially if you're like me, where you like to see numbers improving. When they don't, it can be really discouraging. But stick with it, trust the process, trust what you're doing. Because if you're doing anything, it's better than nothing. I know with this marathon training plan, I've got almost exactly 2 months till the race. And so I'm about halfway into the plan because I've been doing the plan for about 2 months. But even before that, thanks to the club I was working with, the club / store, the community, I should say. I started building my base about a month and a half even prior to that. And in those first 2-3 months, I guess even probably first month and a half, 2 months, I'd seen more running improvement than I've ever seen in my life. And I just felt on top of the world because I'd never trained in the winter before, running wise. And I just felt really good. But that was coming from not doing much of any running. So obviously my performance is going to increase exponentially. So, morning. So when I started to hit my plateau, it's not even a plateau, it's just a much less exponential growth. It's been kind of discouraging, but I have to keep reminding myself. I know Tina has said it a lot. Every day is a new day. Don't compare it to old days, because your best on one day is not going to be your best on another day. And, you shouldn't be doing your best every day, because you're going to hurt yourself. So you got to have easy run days. 2 days ago, I think I did literally My plan called for a 40-minute easy run. It was so cold and snowy. I did it on the treadmill, and it felt terrible. Like I was not feeling it. I was inside on a treadmill. I was just struggling. And I cut it off after 30 minutes. Not even 30 hard minutes. 30 very, very easy minutes. Hi, doggy. They're behind the fence. They're a floofy dog. They look very happy. But, yeah, so I cut it off after 30 minutes, and I was like, no, you've got several months ahead of you. No sense in pushing it today. And I quit. That's okay. Because I'm out here today with you. You've helped motivated me. I hope I've helped to motivate you. I hope this wasn't too much rambling. I'm now approaching the intersection of my apartment. So I'm gonna start to say my goodbyes. Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. As I've said to all the other groups, thanks so much for letting me do this. Thank you, Tina, and the whole team for doing what you do and keeping a great community of people motivated. Thank you to those listening today. I hope, like I said, even if one person got something out of it, then my job is done. So, like I said, I'll be running alongside with you. I'd love to connect on social media. Again, I'll be joining the Facebook group, and my Instagram is Darius_runs. And so let's connect. Let's talk more. But even if not, I'll be here the whole way on whatever journey you're on, and you'll be here for me. So I'm going to take it down to a walk and make sure you get a good stretch it out, especially if you've been running this whole time, because it's a long time. And again, if it needs to be cut shorter because of my rambling or breathing or the cars, whatever, that's fine. But no matter what, thank you. And until next time, I wish you all the best.
Hi friends, just a quick message to say a big thank you to the Running for Real team. While I may be the face of Running for Real and the voice behind the podcast, there are a group of people who are working tirelessly to provide everything that runners could need within our community, to make our community stronger, better, and evolve and grow and learn from one another. We are working really hard to make Running for Real the place we believe it can be within our community. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone on our team. That is Victoria, Stacy, Sandy, Sally, Maria, Kelsey, Kat, Jeremy, and Erica. I appreciate each and every one of you and the hard work that you put in. Now let's get back to the show.